What's going on, Pokemon Go trainers? Welcome to episode 40 of the Lured Up podcast, where we take Pokemon Go way more seriously than we do ourselves. I'm one of your hosts, Ken Pescatore, joined by my two co-hosts, Adam Tuttle and Melissa Pescatore. Say hello, friends.
Hi.
Normally Melissa says hi, friends, so I was like ready to say something else, and then she totally threw me off. What's going on, trainers?
Today's episode is going to be brought to you by patreon.com/GottaWatchEmAll, where you can become a supporter of the show for as little as $1 a month. That'll get you access to our patron exclusive Discord, which is a fantastic place filled with fantastic people. And
sure is.
Yes, and I want to.
They're fun.
Yeah. And I'd like to give a shout out to our Lured Up supporter tier patrons, Terry J, MPitts, Jessica, Brittany, Mark, and Keith. Thank you so much. And a shout out to our newest patrons that came in at the Discord level, Royana, Rita, Dave, and Steve. Thank you guys so incredibly much for supporting the show. We really do appreciate it. On today's show, we have a special guest, everyone. We are joined by Michael Pitts of the MetapodCastGO podcast.
Yeah, buddy.
Mike, what's up, dude?
What is up?
Dude, we're so excited to have you, man. I can't wait to get into it. We spent a lot of time with Mr. MPitts in Chicago for GoFest, so we got a lot of stories and shenanigans to talk about. So we're going to recap GoFest. We're going to talk about the legendary raid boss rotation that's gone on this past week. Zapdos Day. There's been major updates to the game. And then we're going to close out with a Registeel battle party and raid guide. But first, let's get caught up. Michael Pitts, MPitts, MetapodCastGO. How the hell are you? Are you recovered from GoFest? Why don't you introduce yourself, talk about the show, and then let's get into some GoFest goodness.
I don't think there's actually any recovering from GoFest.
Right? I want to go back.
Yeah, the hurt just stays with you.
I want to go back, but I fear if I go back, I will literally die in the street. So, no, I'm great. Thank you for having me on. Ken, Melissa, Adam, thank you so much. I'm just happy to be here. I have my own podcast. It's called MetapodCastGO. We are 17 episodes in now, I believe. My co-host has been. You can find us on iTunes or Google Play. I know that other podcast feeds pick us up because it's an RSS feed, but I'm not sure who. So maybe on Spotify. If I am, let me know. I really have no idea. But
Well, that's good. That's good.
But honestly, GoFest was fantastic. It was great getting a chance to put faces to names, meet you guys. Felt like I was going to probably melt.
Dude, it was hot, man. It was super hot. And let's talk about the GoFest weekend. This was Melissa ended up coming last minute plans, like about. I don't know, Melissa, what was it, like a week before? Yeah, the week of, we decided that this was going to be so because we found out from our media credentials that we got for GoFest that we would have a +1. So as soon as we found that out and we knew that Melissa could actually get into the event and, scan herself in, we were on a mission to make it happen. And we scrambled at the end.
We want a mission from God.
Dude, we scrambled at the end and poor Melissa had to have layovers on both flights.
But honestly, I'm so happy she came, thoh.
Oh, hell yeah, of course.
Thanks.
That meetup was not a meetup until you got there.
All right. Let me back up. I flew in, I caught the early bird, cheapy flight special. So I actually landed in Chicago at 8 a.m. that day on Friday. So I couldn't even check into the Airbnb until 2 o'clock. Now, normally, I'm a light packer. I'm like, all right, all I need is a book bag, and I'm good to go. But once Melissa came, then it was like, you know what? Why don't we, of course, she's going to pack for like 6 weeks. I was just like, I'm flying Southwest. I get free, checked bags. Put all our crap into one big-ass bag, and I'll just bring that with me. So it didn't dawn on me till after the fact that, holy shit, I'm going to be on the ground in Chicago at 8 a.m. and I'm going to have to lug this giant suitcase around until 2 o'clock till I could check into the Airbnb. And I'm like, whatever, I don't care. I just got to get there. So once I land, I take the train, blah, blah, blah. Adam, what were you, like an hour behind me? Hour or two behind?
Yeah, I landed around 9.
And with different airports, I flew into Midway. Adam flew into O'Hare. But as soon as I got on the ground, I was like, let me just find a place that I could, post up, charge up. So there was a McDonald's, there was Wi-Fi, and I was like, all right, let me just get in here and get charged. And then Adam and I hooked up, and of course he walks in and he's got luggage, and we're like, all right, what are we gonna do for the next 6 hours? We can't check into the Airbnb, and obviously we look around, everything's already lit up. There's gyms, stops everywhere, so it was like.
So we just went to where the raids were,
and it was just like walk fu. What was cool about the next sequence of events was, as we walked to our first raid, there was an Absol. So like, all right, let's go hit this Absol. And we did the Absol. There was a Golem raid like right next to it, my precious. As we're about to do the Golem, we see like a huge crew walk up to the Absol. And we're like, oh shit, let's just wait for them. Obviously, they're going to come here. So we wait for them to come up, and it's the verified level 40 club. The whole crew was there, which was so awesome because we got to meet like a whole bunch of people that, are core high-level players in the community and exceptionally active on social media. And we got to talk about them, shooting the shit about the podcast. It was really cool. It was nice meeting all those people. But we kind of broke off in search of the next raid, right? So, Adam, what did we do? We just kind of like walked past to the next raid, and then we saw DX1.
Well, we went to the next one. We went to Dunkin' Donuts. And then I remember there was like a wild Porygon that I was like freaking out about. I'm like, you gotta go catch it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and Ken didn't even want to get up and go.
Oh.
Oh my
No,
God.
seriously.
I
was disappointed.
I had a free $5 frozen lemonade from Dunkin' Donuts, and the second you walk outside, it would have turned into just lemonade. So I was like, yo, I'm going to sit here and sit back and enjoy my $5 free frozen lemonade from Dunkin' Donuts. And
but
So
regular lemonade and a Porygon is better.
I should have got it. I got like freaking 10 upgrades.
I mean, it was awful IVs. It wasn't worth it. I mean, I guess for the candy, because I definitely pine-upped it. We ran into DX1.
That was cool. And he was on his own at that point. And there was pretty much raids everywhere, but we had no freaking clue. This is our first time in Chicago. We had no clue like where we were going or if we were moving further or where, further or closer to the Airbnb. We just kind of were walking from one to the next. And
we pretty much stayed in a straight line.
I think we saw, and then we ended up seeing some, I don't know, it was a Reg Ice, right? It was a Reg Ice raid.
Yep. We started walking
like like a hot dog joint. It was the hot dog joint that put queso on the hot dog. So it's like, that was their thing. I think Secret League was there. Omar was there. DX1 ended up coming, and then out from the store next to the hot dog place is Brandon Tan. And it was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, we get off the plane, and it's like, we meet the verified 40 club, then DX1, then a bunch of like Los Angeles based, tubers and the Secret League, and then Brandon Tan. And it's like, what is going on? It was so crazy. And Brandon Tan looks at us and he's cracking up. He's like, why do you guys have your luggage? We're like, dude, we haven't even been to our room yet. We literally been walking around for like hours doing raids and stuff. That was all Friday, and then finally, after we checked in that night at Goldie's Pub in downtown Chicago, we had the Mareep up. This was a podcast meetup that was organized by the guys at Pokemon Go Radio, Pokemon Go Podcast. Everyone's kind of involved in this, and it was awesome. We pretty much took over the bar. Got there, I don't know, 8 or 9 o'clock. They were already
too early for me.
Yeah, they were. Melissa doesn't land until 10:30 p.m. Right? So
yeah, mind you, they're walking around having poke fun, and I'm sitting in Boston twiddling my thumbs like I'm miserable.
She had to fly from Jersey to Boston and then Boston to Chicago.
I saw the pictures.
Kill me. Horrible.
But when Adam and I, we took a lift over to the Mareep up, and we get there. And Terry Wolf is fucking blasted already. And he's like, yeah, screaming his brains out. Bro, Terry Wolf is a character, man. Dude, Terry, I had so much fun hanging with you. That was like, it was absolutely awesome. And it was really cool seeing all the other guys from the podcast in person and meeting all the fans, Tangela and Carrie, and everybody was there. Rob Cat was there. It was awesome. There was a ton of people. I had, I think, 5 Shirley Temples that night.
You're so wicked.
I know he was off the rocker with those.
Man,
well,
they were alcohol
wild
free.
man, bro.
And then I think I had what? I said I was gonna have 2 beers. I went to go like have a Coke. I walk up to the bar, and Nar is there at the bar, right? And he's like, they're talking about. I think they were talking about your birthday or talking about somebody's birthday. And I said, "Oh, today's my birthday." And Nar goes, "No, it isn't." And I was like, "Yeah, it's my birthday." And he goes, "Show me your ID." And I thought to myself, what are you, the cops or something? But okay, sure. So I pulled my ID, showed it to him. It was my birthday. It was the 13th. And he's like, this drink's on me. And he bought me like a Jack and Coke or whatever variant of Jack and Coke that he was drinking. And I was like, I came up here for water because I was kind of done drinking for the night. And now I have liquor in my hand.
It was like you disappeared. And when you came back, you had a drink in your hand. I go, how's that Coke?
I know. And then, you know, I mean, I don't want to fast forward through the whole night, but you also did me a nice favor that night too.
What did I do?
I left my debit card.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
I know, right?
It was that last drink.
After 3 drinks, I wasn't drunk, you know. I mean, whatever if I was, but yeah, I just walked out without it. I had opened the tab and just was like, yeah, no, I'm good, bye. Like,
but so when Melissa hit the ground and I'm trying to get her to download Lyft, like from the runway, please. She's like on the plane. So I was feeling the full wrath of the internet. Like it was fucking bad. Like I was like, Melissa's going to end up getting on another plane to New Jersey right now. She's not even going to fucking come. And then Carrie and Tangela had to leave the bar. They were bummed. They were like, they were holding out for her. And then finally, I don't know, 11 o'clock, Melissa, something like that.
It was like 10:30, 11.
And like I don't know. You walked into like a disaster. Like everyone was just like already like so tuned up.
Like I walked in and like half the people are like slumped over and everyone's eyes are like completely glass and
come
only
on, I wasn't
slits.
that bad.
You didn't even say hello to me.
Adam
for
was
like
I was trading deli
20
birds.
minutes, and I had to slam my hand on the table and be like, "Yo, mofo, you need to recognize."
He was trading everyone's deli birds. It was the funniest.
He really
thing.
was.
Oh, and
I'm so mad that they came out with this lucky Pokemon thing, like, after all that.
Oh my god, that's right.
Because imagine how many lucky Delibirds I could have right now.
All right, foreshadowing to the rest of the show. But the bar was amazing. We took over the whole thing. The freaking bartender was playing like the Pokemon theme over the music. It was like every so often people would like walk in off the street and be like, "What the fuck is going on in here?" Like, what the hell?
that was my favorite
No,
part.
it was awesome, though. It was awesome to see the look on people's faces as they walk in. They're like, I'm just here to get a drink.
You're like, nope.
Did you see the regulars when the Lunatone spawned?
Oh yeah, so that's right. So Melissa had dropped a lure. It was on a Pokestop. And I don't know, it was like all freaking mayhem. It was just after midnight, and a Lunatone spawned literally right where we were. So like everyone runs out into the street screaming their heads off, and I don't know. I think like
I'm like freaking. I'm like, a Lunatone.
Yeah, because it was for
reason.
Dex.
yeah, there was
By
like
the way.
10 people for Dex.
But they didn't need to run outside. You could have stayed in
didn't.
the bar and got the Lunatone.
I had to go outside because I was right out of range. So Adam's sitting at the bar. He's like, "Oh, it's right here for me." I'm like, "Where is it?" So I ran outside,
And then everyone ran out.
Yeah, then everyone came with me.
Yeah, mind you, I'm on Straight Talk like 3G, so like the network nobody's on.
He's like, I got perfect service right now.
Everything's great.
But that was Friday night. Saturday morning, I don't know, we got off to a decently early start. We kind of, slept in from the travel a little bit. So I think we didn't go outside till 8:30, 9 o'clock. I got up.
It was later.
You
than
fucking
that.
lazy
I think
folks.
it was closer to 11.
Yeah, I came back to the room at like 8 o'clock with coffee for everybody, and I was like, "Yo, I've already been out raiding. I don't know about you guys."
I want to tell one more story about Friday night that I didn't tell on my show I forgot about.
Okay.
So I get in a lift. I'm staying on the South Loop, right? Like you guys are all up on the north side, which is where we should have stayed, but whatever. We stayed on the South Loop. I get in a lift. I get all the way back to the hotel. I go up in this hotel, it's the embassy or whatever. You got to go in an elevator to go in an elevator to get into an elevator to get to your room. So there's like literally 3 elevators.
What?
It's a whole thing. So I get through all that, right? I get up to the room. Amy's asleep on the bed. I give her a kiss. I take my shoes off. I look at my phone. Wild Aerodactyl. And I'm like, this is after midnight. I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, I have to go get this. Like in my head, I'm like, this never happens. So I put my shoes back on. I said, baby, I'll be right back. She didn't even ask why. She's just like, she's half asleep. Like, I'm sure you're going to get something. I don't care, whatever. Go back down all the elevators, walk out. I go to a hotel. It's a very nice hotel next door to the hotel I'm at. And it was in the Starbucks in the hotel. Now, I have horrible like GPS drift, right? So I'm trying to I'm just walking into a hotel that I'm not staying at like 1:00 in the morning, just rambling around looking for this wild Aerodactyl. And sure as hell, I found it and I caught it and I was like, what a great story this will be. And then I woke up the next morning and found out that they were fucking everywhere. Like I named them like pre-Go Fest. I've got it named. I'm going to keep this thing forever. It was just a great story. And then it's like fuck you. There's a million of them.
Like fooled you.
It's like Diglett, Aerodactyl, Diglett.
Yep.
Oh, that's freaking brilliant. That's brilliant. But both our tickets and Mike's tickets were for Sunday. So Saturday we kind of had the day to kind of fart around. And what Melissa, Adam, and I ended up doing was at the closer to the zoo, a little bit north of the zoo, there's the conservatory in Lincoln Park. And we decided to go in there to check it out. Now, Adam, Melissa, and I are all kind of, green thumbs a little bit. We're all nature driven, And this place is a giant freaking greenhouse that has exotic plants and trees from really around the world. It's like a zoo for plants.
I was in heaven. I honestly was walking around there waiting for like Squirtle to pop out, waiting for
awesome.
Chikorita to be like poking its little head out from behind one of the plants. Like it was really nice. It was a nice step outside of just playing the game.
Even though we were inside, it was a step outside
of playing the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we met Mary, the volunteer that worked there. And she was the best person in the face of the world. She was the kindest lady.
Honestly, the best tour I ever got in any place. Like
she gave us a tour of every tree, and like she was so excited about every leaf. Like if
she's like, you got to smell this. You got to smell this.
She's like, you can't
keep going until you got to look at the leaves. What's different about them?
Yeah, I'm usually suspect when someone says you've got to smell this.
Oh, I'll smell it every time. I'll be like, what is it?
That?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, this smells like shit. Smell this.
I'm like, oh, it does smell like
Taste
shit.
this. It's awful.
Right. But
that's where I draw the line. I've played Bean Boozled.
We pick up our media passes in the tent. The tent was legit. It was fully catered. There was Wi-Fi chargers. It was rain on Saturday. They were giving out umbrellas. It was really cool. Hannah, that was working there, who took care of us through email, like preparing the whole trip and getting Melissa on board, was the one I actually met to gave us our wristbands. And she gives us the wristband. Now, listen to this shit. So they're looking up our information, Lured Up Podcast, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's your stuff. They're like, oh, we ran out of bracelets. Hold on, someone's bringing more. So someone brings this giant manila folder over, and they pull a handful of bracelet packages out and just give us 2, and thank you, and we're on our way. Now, we put them in the bag, and we walk away.
I said that they had Saturday on them. I said it to you, and you were like, "No, it's fine. It's fine."
We'll fast forward. We'll fast forward over Saturday night, which we'll come back to. But yeah, they gave us wristbands for Saturday South entrance. We were supposed to have Sunday North entrance, so we got completely fucked. But we'll wait till we get into Sunday. What else did we do on Saturday? There was.
Didn't we all just kind of hang out a little bit on Saturday, or? We went out raiding and all that good stuff, remember?
Oh, yeah, that was Saturday.
We were on the hunt for India's shiny Lugia.
Yes. Yeah, because they brought Lugia back, which was like the no one asked for kind of thing. Like, hey, surprise, Lugia's back. It was kind of weird.
Well, I was happy about it.
Well,
I got a perfect Lugia.
Yeah, you did.
Did you really?
Yeah,
I
did.
And
did you max it out yet?
Was I there?
I have not maxed it out yet, but
What?
Hey, listen. There are lucky
killing me.
Well, I don't want to talk about that yet. There are other things in the game I'm trying to get. But yes, I'm good. I'll tell you what. I'm going to take a video of me maxing it out. It's going to be 10 minutes long. I'm going to record the whole thing, and I'll post it on my Twitter after we record this. I will absolutely do that.
Nice.
But we were headed up to meet with you. You're the entire gang, right? I have myself, Harrison, and India and Kyle. And we were taking a lift up to meet with you guys up at the Airbnb. And India so badly wanted a shiny Lugia, and it was like her life's mission on this weekend to try and get one. So we're 2 blocks from the Airbnb. I'm in the lift, and I said, "Hey, there's a raid. 2 blocks that way." I said, "You know what? Forget where we're going. Make a right here. Go up 2 blocks and drop us off there." And the guy's like, "Yeah, no problem." So we get out. There's like 3 minutes left on this raid, right? And we weren't even sure we were going to make it. I could see it from the phone, but I have no concept, right? I'm in Chicago in a strange town.
Right.
We get there. There's 4 of us. We hop into the raid, and we're like, maybe we won't have enough. How many people are going to show up? We wound up with 11 people that just jumped in. And I'm sure you can probably attest to this too. But during that weekend, if you went to a raid, there were people everywhere. It did not matter. Like, it was kind of nice to just be able to go, I'm going to go to that raid, and you show up and there are 20 people in it. You never have to worry that you had enough. So we got in with the 4. We wind up with like a party of 11. We beat it. Now the raid is over. It's no longer a raid. Like, the gym is now back to just being a gym. And what happens? 2056 Lugia on my screen. And I'm like, shit. If this crashes, if something stupid happens in the game, I'll lose it. Like, I won't be able to I won't get the chance to catch it. It happened to me the last time Lugia was here. I had a 98% boosted one on my screen, and the first ball, the game crashed, it disappeared. I went back and the raid was over. So yeah. So, but this was a story of sweet redemption, because the first ball popped right out, second ball caught it, and I was like, well, I don't know what's going to top that this weekend.
I'm good.
Yeah,
so,
nothing.
Thank you. Good
honestly.
night.
Yep. And so then I had to text you and say, well, we were on our way, but we kind of got sidetracked. And of course, India does not get her shiny Lugia, and then I'm getting a perfect one, and then we're headed over to meet with you guys, which is awesome. But
well, it was funny because like we headed out from the Airbnb, and like we see your crew coming down the street, and it's like, oh shit, there they are. It was really cool, and it was cool just kind of using the game as it was just guiding us. Okay, there's the next raid. Like, you could always see the next raid in the distance.
Do you even know where we went? Like, if you were to go back and look, I'd have to look at the gyms to try and decipher where I was. Like, I'm like, we just kind of crawled around and went from gym to gym. We could have wound up in Cabrini Green for all I know.
Well, it was funny because like when we were all said and done and we started walking down the street, it was like, oh shit, we're back where we started. Like, it was like, how did we do that? It was cool. And then we all went to the Sylph Road after party Saturday night, and it was freaking insane. It was insane.
That party, just by total happenstance, was on the same city block and basically almost in the same building as the hotel I stayed in.
That's so cool. Cool.
That's convenient.
It was.
So the Sylph Road party was at this place called Lucky Strike, which was a full movie theater. And on one side of the movie theater, you had this massive bar. I don't know. It was probably like sections of like 50-foot long bars. It was really cool. Tons of pool tables. There was bowling alleys. There was ping pong. Tables everywhere, couches everywhere. They're bringing pizzas out, and everyone's drinking, having a good time. Then on the opposite side of the movie theater is a full Dave & Buster's, style arcade with all the big
another bar too.
And full another bar, and it was awesome. Then there's like mini golf in there. It was really freaking cool place.
The
like,
place was really
cool
rad.
place.
They need to open one around here like that.
I know, it was awesome.
That event they put on the Sylph Road, phenomenal. I thought it was really well done. They had people walking around checking people in, and then the ticket included. I mean, your ticket was what, $15 if you pre-purchased them, and you got a $10 gift card to go play in the arcade along with pizza,
and you got a
free
drink.
Yeah.
Free drink and free
the
pizza.
value of it, the value of the after party was completely worth the mission of the ticket.
And I had 6 kids with me. I'm feeding 6 kids. Like you can't feed 6 kids for $15 a pop in Chicago anywhere, I don't think.
No, it was really cool. We saw your whole crew there. That's when Kyler finally got in. His plane was delayed, so he couldn't make the earlier meetup or anything like that. But we ran into Kyler. It was awesome meeting him, and it was cool because
some YouTubers.
Yeah, all the tubers were there. Dark Matter Wolf, Mystic 7 was there. We met Nick from Trainer Tips. As I'm standing in front of Nick, I caught a shiny Whalmer, which was really cool. I mean, Prodigies was there. Everybody was there. It was really cool.
Except for Holly.
Yeah, Holly wasn't there. Holly wasn't there. I guess she was editing. She was being diligent. The place was freaking awesome. We had a blast. One of the guys that we're with from our Jersey, in our Airbnb, 2 guys, Paul and Nick, who are from our local raid group here, came with us and stayed in the Airbnb with us. So we played around in mini golf. Nick almost killed somebody with a golf ball. It was amazing.
It was hilarious.
He went straight Happy Gilmore, and it like ricocheted off the walls and the ceiling and came down.
Yeah, the ball totally went rogue.
It was fantastic. It was amazing.
Yeah, basically went into like the last hole.
Oh, Melissa, talk about your phone.
Oh my God. So I did the most dumbass thing ever. So, girls, we keep our phones in the back pocket, and we went to play a game. So I was like, let me pee real quick before we play. So I go into the bathroom and I take my phone out of my back pocket as to not drop it in the bowl. And I put it on top of the toilet paper thing. You girls, you know what I'm talking about. So I apparently was very excited about going back and playing this game of air hockey. And I left the phone in the bathroom, not realizing it. Played a 15-minute game of air hockey. Went to get my phone and was like, holy shit. I fucking just lost my phone. I knew immediately that I left it in the bathroom and exactly what I did. I run.
And if you're there for GoFest, you need your phone because that's how you're gonna play.
I was just
Pokemon
like,
Go.
I can't believe I just did that. I fucking just run into the bathroom. I run right to the stall. I bust it open. Phone's not there, and I'm standing there. I'm like, Jesus, my motherfucking goddamn life. And so I go to walk out, and I open the bathroom door in complete disappointment, waiting for Ken to just fucking ream into me and let me have it, like in ultra disappointment. And he's standing there holding my phone, and I'm like, how?
The golden
how?
night.
So I went up to the bar, right, and on the back of the bar, I see 3 phones sitting on the counter, and I'm like, yo, that looks like Melissa's case. And I call it, and it lights up, and I'm like, holy shit. I grab the bartender. I'm like, that's my phone. That's my phone. I go, are these lost and found phones? They're like, yes, they are. So someone turned in the phone. Kudos to the fucking Pokemon Go community, man.
Seriously. Yep. And I'm gonna honestly say it has everything to do with my Squirtle Squad sticker that was on the back. And seriously, because they probably saw it and it was just like, oh, this is one of those Pokemon fucking weirdos. Let's, put it up at the bar.
Don't touch it. It could have some shit on it.
No, exactly. this was a fellow trainer was going to make poo-poo and saw your phone. They didn't wash their hands. They picked it up, and then they brought it to the bar and said, this is a fellow trainer's phone. Please save it.
And I rubbed it all over my face, and I was very
great.
happy to have it back.
And then, we're from fucking Jersey. We're like, yo, this would never fly. This would never happen, like, in a million years.
It should have been. It would have been sold on eBay by the time you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Someone would already have their iTunes link to it. But But anyway, so that I don't know. We left there at like 1:30 in the morning, 2 in the morning, or something like that, and we had to get up early to start GoFest the next morning. And when we first get to GoFest, that's when we're kind of realizing like, oh shit, these wristbands say Saturday South on them.
Well, let's start with early in the morning when we're getting ready and I wake up and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't do any Pokemon box maintenance. I literally have no room to catch Pokemon.
Didn't you travel for like 10 hours with your phone?
Yes, I sure did. I sure did. But thank God the Pokemon community loves the internet so much, and I got this wonderful gift card in a card
from MPitts.
From MPitts and the Pokemon community, which came in so perfectly handy helpful, so I was able to upgrade my shit and not have to worry about it. And as I grab our wristbands and I'm looking at Adam's wristband, I'm seeing 2 different colors. And I'm like...
And you're like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get in. This isn't going to work. This isn't going to work.
So the anxiety starts. And
Ken's just like, let's just see if it does.
Well, because I'm like, I gotta keep this ship on course. I gotta steer it straight because I can already see like Melissa's eyelids are starting to twitch. I'm like,
Captain can't panic.
Yep. I'm like,
Captain must remain cool at all times.
Exactly. I'm like, let's just get there and let's figure it out. Now, as we're walking up to the gate, Mike messages me on Discord saying that he had an issue with his media passes. What the hell happened with yours?
Oh, mine's a story, man. We get to... First of all, I'm going to say this. My interaction at the media tent was less as exciting or as good as yours. I don't know. We get there about 9 o'clock on Sunday. We had Sunday North, like you said. And like you, I had added Scarlet once I found out that these people were dumb enough to give us media passes. No, I'm kidding. They were great. But I was like, I already have a ticket for myself. Harrison has a ticket. I'm going to add Scarlet because we couldn't get her one. We tried so hard and she wanted to go, even though she said she did and I knew she did. And so I'm like, let's just change, if we're going to do an add one, well, let's add Scarlet. So I go there on Sunday. I'm like, hey, is Hannah here? And they're like, no, she's not here. And I'm like, oh, okay. I said, well, I have media credentials, and I had seen that you had like a green neck tag, like the media pass, right?
Right,
Like around your neck, which really didn't get you anything other than access to what you talked about in the tent and all that good stuff, which, I could see there being some value there, but ultimately we never took advantage of it. But so I'm like, yeah, I have myself plus one. My name is Mike. It's MetapodCastGO. Scarlett is with me, and her trainer name is this. He's like, yeah. And the guy's just kind of not really paying much attention to me. And then he's like, he comes back with a single wristband. And I'm like, well, I need two. I have another person. And he just kind of looked annoyed. And I said, by the way, can I get one of those, green media badges? I just wanted one.
You got to have the swag.
Right. I wanted the keepsake, right? Like, it was kind of a cool thing. I'm like, look, I had a media pass to Go Fest, whatever, big whoop. But it was cool to me. And the guy goes, oh, those aren't around. And I looked at him and I go, I don't want to be a dink, but I just saw you carrying a handful of them. And he just looks at me and he goes, I'll be right back. So he comes back with the other wristband. He comes back with the hang tag, the pass, whatever. So we put him on, right? And we're Sunday North. And I had verified with Hannah, we're Sunday North, no problem. So, all of our friends, including you, Kyle, India, Harrison, they're all up at Sunday North. So we trek all the way back up there, and it was a hike, man. That was we took a car. I was like, it's 85 degrees, and it's 9 a.m. You know what I mean? Like, we got about a third of the way there. I'm like, we're taking a car. This is ridiculous. We get all the way up there. I can't check in. Scarlett can't check in.
Oh, no.
Two completely separate errors. Mine says I'm too far away. And I look at my wristband, it says south. I'm like, motherfucker.
No.
So, yeah, and then Scarlett's is saying this, there was some sort of invalid code. This code is not a valid code. So I'm like, God, what the hell is going on here? So I get back in a lift. I go all the hell ass way back down to the media tent. I run into the guy again, who was much more pleasant this time. And I said, listen, we're having some technical issues with the bracelets you gave me. I said, mine says I'm too far away, and hers says it's an invalid code. So he says, well, uninstall the application. I got mine straightened out, right? Like, they figured, because now I'm at the south entrance, he's like, try checking in down here. And sure enough, it worked down there. No problem. But Scarlett's still not in. So he's like, well, uninstall the application and reinstall it. And I'm like, that's all you know, isn't it? Because I'm like, not to be a dork, okay, but I've had like 20 plus years in the IT industry. I'm like, that's not what this problem is. There's something that's not correlating here, but no problem. So I uninstall it. Now, in the meantime, Scarlett's account is tied to Amy's Gmail. Amy had to reset her Gmail password, which I did not know about.
Oh, no.
So I go to try and reinstall the app, and I cannot. And then I can't get a hold of her. So I'm standing there. Mine's working. Scarlett's over there running around catching me Torkoal and Unknown because she wants to do something. And, she's 12. So I'm like, go play with my phone, and I'll get this straightened out. So we finally get it. I get a hold of Amy, finally get the app reinstalled. And then he's like, it's still the same problem. He sends me over to the help desk, and there's a lady there named Vivian. So Vivian has a computer, and she's like, hold on, let me see your thing. Clickety, click, click, click. Boom, she was in. But then, that's all well and good. Guess what? Now we got to go all the way back to the north.
Yep.
For her to check in.
Yeah, and then we finally met up with you and Kyle and India and everybody else at, I don't know, it feels like 4 p.m., but it was probably 10:30.
Yeah, but we had, after all, but as you were dealing with all that, we had our own issues because, as soon as we got there, we spin the stop and it says, invalid location, same shit. So at the north end, there was a will call booth, and I'm like, let me just take a shot. I don't want to go all the way down to the south end. I don't want to have to deal with that. I go, let me just go to the will call booth and, see what's up. And when I go there, I explain what's going on. I said they gave us the wrong the wrong wristbands. They're unopened. Here they are. What do we do? And one person starts typing away on the computer, looking us up. The other person just goes in the back, grabs 2 Sunday North wristbands, hands them to me. I hand her. I just walk away. I was like, thank you very much. And then boom, boom, and we were in. And then it was on from there. And obviously, this was the best Pokemon Go experience I've ever had. But the Celebi quest, which will be released worldwide, probably in the coming week or so, this was the greatest thing ever because it kept you moving forward and active and busy and concerned with your progress throughout the whole day. I thought it was probably one of the coolest progressions of how to host an event. I thought it was really cool, and it really drove you through all these different habitats, starting with, when you were on the north side, the first one was going to be, the jungle area, and then you came into like the desert biome, and then you came to the what was next, the ice one,
Glacier.
right?
Ice.
Yep, the glacier one, and then finally the fire, and it was a volcano one, and they're all done up, it looks like, with all these props and everything, and it was so freaking awesome, with the exception of MPitts over here having connection problems after he gets the wristband whole debacle thing.
Your poor day, dude.
I'm going to tell you, in general, I try to be laid back. In general, I try to be understanding.
You did so good.
I don't freak out, but I was fucking freaking out, man.
Dude, no, you were doing good, man. I was like, I could.
You kept it in, buddy.
You kept it in. You kept it in.
One of the very few things that, once I realized what was going on with the spawns in the city, right, and the boosted shinies, which are most obviously boosted, I don't care what anybody says, my goals were to try and get a shiny Snorunt, which I actually got on Saturday, like one of the first things I caught that morning after breakfast, and then I wanted a shiny Aeron. And damn it, if in that biome, Aeron wasn't everywhere. And I mean, I had, and I guess I should probably define what happened. For about 45 minutes, I had absolutely no service whatsoever, and it was right by that biome.
Yeah.
All the while,
and that's what you wanted. So
right, it's the one thing
difficult.
I really wanted. And then all the while, I've got Scarlet, who is also on Verizon and not having quite the problem I have. She's already got 2 shiny Aeron. And then we've got Kyle, our friend, with us. He caught like 4 of them. So I'm sitting there. I can't do anything. I'm restarting. I'm like, I just can't get any service whatsoever. And again, we found out later it was Verizon, and it was only for that like 45-minute period. But damn it, if it wasn't right there and it's 85 degrees and I'm sweating my ass off and nothing works, and the one thing I really want is right there and I can't get it. Meanwhile, and the part I don't think you guys knew is Joe Ard had a friend there named Barry who had traveled, and Barry was going to trade me a Mr. Mime. And he, if you and I don't want to talk too much about the event, but the stops that had the graphics, right? All the old graphics, the loading screens and all that. I was supposed to meet him at the Tyranitar graphic. And man, that was right when my service came back on. I was probably working for about 3 minutes when I finally met up with him, and I was able to make that trade and get Mr. Mime, which completed my Gen 1 Pokédex. But
nice.
and everything from that point forward turned. It was all great after that. But man, I was not having a good time for that.
My heart was pounding for you. Like, we were walking and catching. I'm like, please, just let this guy, let this guy be able to play this game for me, please.
A testament to the character of all 3 of you, in that you were all very understanding and supportive and empathetic to the fact that I was having trouble. And you were like, no, we'll wait. We're good. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Like, you guys never made me feel like I was a burden. Even when I was, I'm sure, being a petulant asshole. You guys were like, it's cool, man. We're good. Take your time. We've got all day. Don't sweat it. And I appreciate that. It speaks a lot to the type of people you are. So,
Aw, thanks, friend.
No.
Well, we enjoy your presence.
We definitely enjoyed your company.
Feel like, oh yeah, we're just gonna go on without you.
Yeah, we weren't leaving you behind. That's what the community is about, man.
Bye, Felicia.
No, it was cool. And then probably after right around the glacial biome, between the desert and the glacial thing, we kind of broke off from you. And you had, the kids were scattered all over the place. They were, hunting. And then we ended up hooking up with Kyler, and I think that was probably around, I don't know, 11 o'clock or so, 11:30, something like that.
Was that before or after you pushed the old man out of the motorized scooter?
Oh, shit.
Oh, no, my God, stop. It was...
No, I know. I'm kidding. I joke. But
no,
I can only do that because he was okay.
Yeah, no, there was an old dude who, there was like a crown in the walkway. So it was like it sloped off on the outside, and poor dude in a scooter, went and tipped over and got jacked up, like he scraped his arm real bad. And this
terrible.
And this dude was like, he needed help, like,
Oh yeah.
You
were the first person there to help him,
dude. I freaking jumped. I grabbed the scooter. I pulled, I had to pull it upright and get him up and off the ground. It was like, it was so cool seeing all the people spring into action to help this dude.
And not only that, but how quick did first aid get there?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, they did.
It was
they were like that.
amazing.
I mean, that moment kind of was a microcosm for the whole thing. They were very attentive. They were there when somebody needed them. They took you, just like my problem with the tickets, the will call person for you, whatever it was. They took care of that problem. They didn't want there to be any issues. And I think they really strived to provide, I guess, good customer service, right? I just thought it was really well done. And that was kind of like a little, like I said, microcosm of it, where they were there, boom, they were patching the guy up, and it didn't take but a second.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you on that.
He was down probably for about 60 seconds before the first aid came by.
It was amazing. It was awesome.
And the other thing, going with the customer service that you're saying, is in every biome they had people there asking, like, "Hey, how's your service? Are you noticing any lag? And reporting
Nobody
it?"
asked me that.
Really? Everyone
don't
that
talk to
I
the guy
was
with the
in.
steam coming out of his ears. Don't talk to him.
Don't talk to Sea King over there.
When we had broke up, you had went one direction. We had went back for me to grab a couple more in the desert. That's when they had said that they had opened the second desert biome to split it up to put some relief on that.
I don't know if it was because you talked about how there's the north entrance and the south entrance, and that quest for Celebi guided you, right? I didn't know if that was just where they overlapped and everybody kind of wound up in one place at the same time, because, you have to meet in the middle somewhere, or if it was just that people were sitting there trying to farm shiny Aeron or whatever it was. But that one area was just bad, but everything else was great. And I never felt, did you ever feel crowded or that there wasn't enough room?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Only at like the extreme north and south tip, which was pretty much where all the unknown and Torkoal were spawning. Those areas were a little crowded, but there was so much real estate. There was so much land that, if it was crowded, it was only because people were like trying to crowd the shade. You know what I mean?
I was just
trying to hide from the sun. Yeah, and the cows, the cell on wheels, and all the cell support that the providers brought in was pretty much right in the middle too. So it was definitely interesting that there was a breakdown there. I'm happy with Sprint. We have Sprint, and we didn't have, I had to maybe restart my game maybe 3 or 4 times, but that was it. As soon as I restarted it would repair any issue that I had. So
I'll say, despite all my troubles, which really were not that big in the grand scheme of things, it was a well laid out, well planned, and well executed event, and it was probably one of the best times I ever had playing any kind of game ever.
Yeah,
I completely agree. I can totally agree, because I went into the game with one feeling and I came out of it on Sunday with a completely different feeling. Like, even though I kind of felt like I wish there was more of a variety of spawns.
Well, I think they said it was only 45 different Pokemon over the entire event were spawning. So, out of the 3 gens worth of Pokemon, it was only 45 spawn. So there wasn't a lot of diversity. It was, but I didn't really mind that too much, because I wasn't there to necessarily catch different Pokemon. I had Celebi on my mind, and that was, and shinies, shiny plus.
Yeah, in each of the habitats, they were giving us Pokemon that you don't normally see, or if you do, those are the ones that you're like, everybody quick, get to here because there's a Trapinch.
Well, the field research goal didn't you get Metagross was one of the field research?
Yep.
Yes.
So they were throwing out some evolved some forms.
Serious decks
all those
entries.
stage 2s that you never see, like Shiftry or, like you said, Metagross or Aggron, or it was really cool to see those.
Well, I wasn't expecting it at all, and I was like, oh shit! Yeah, it was a lot of people were hitting.
Yeah,
decks.
and Melissa, when we were eating lunch with Kyler, you happened to appraise a certain Pokemon that you got as a reward.
Oh yeah,
what was it?
It was
Torkoal?
Yes, my Torkoal.
Yeah, 100% Torkoal from field research.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that is insane.
And believe it or not, once things started hitting up on Twitter, there was actually a lot of people getting 100% off those research rewards, which was really cool.
Not me.
Yeah, well, and one thing that we weren't at GoFest last year, but there was there was gates to get in, so there was like a funnel that you had to get in and out of the park. This was open border. When we were with Kyler and wanted to go get lunch, we literally just had to walk across the street. We just walked out of the park, got lunch. He flew the drone, did some drone shots, and then we walked right back into the park and picked up where we left off. It was great.
I thought about this after the event, and the event was like GoFest 2018, a walk in the park, and that is literally what it felt like. It was free, come and go as you please. There was, for all the stipulations that they gave you for the bags and the things you could not bring in, it didn't matter. It was
didn't
like
matter,
if you wanted to go have a picnic at the park, it didn't matter. If you had a ticket, it didn't matter. Even, we went there on Saturday and they had obviously stripped the whole area. So there was, I don't know if you want to talk about that, but there was nothing to do if you didn't have, they really did a good job of making sure that people who didn't have tickets for that day's event had no reason to be there. But it really did. I didn't have a ticket. We just walked right in. I was like, they're like, how are we going to get in? I'm like, from what I'm reading, you just walk in. It's a park. So, it was really well done. There were no lines. There was no congestion anywhere. I never felt crowded or that I had to wait.
Yeah, it was laid out perfect. And we were, we broke off for an hour or so to eat, but we were pretty much working towards the Celebi quest the entire day. Like, it really took us to the end of riding out the event to get our last unknowns and go from there. But
yeah, because we did keep going back and forth to try to, get as many shinies as possible.
Yeah, and yeah, Melissa didn't do too well. Shocker, Melissa didn't do too well with her shiny Plusle and mine. No, I ended up with.
I didn't do too well with shinies in general. Like, I don't understand how I only got 9 shinies altogether, and you guys got 9 of just one type of Pokemon.
Yeah, I got 6 Plusle, 9 Minun, a Shelder. I got a Shelder. I got some Whalmer. Yeah, so I mean, I was picking up stuff, and but it was freaking awesome. And all I could say was Sunday night, I was probably like, I was mush. My feet were like, oh my god, the pain. I was like, see, this is what happens when you're 40 years old, and you go out and walk. Like Melissa's like, we go out for 3 hours. Fuck that. Fuck that. Normally you're like, oh, community day, 3 hours, I can't take it. Well, we just
in the car. I can't take it in the car. I'd rather be up walking around.
Didn't it feel like it was just a glorified community day to an extent? It was like an
nonstop.
8-hour
Yes.
long community day.
Yes.
And everybody in our little party, right? It was myself, Harrison, Kyle, India, and Scarlett. It hit like 4:30 and they were all done, but none of them would quit. They were all like, we have to continue on. Like, we have 90 minutes left of like unknown, because they knew as soon as it was over, it was going to be over. And it was as soon as the event ended, boom, it was like community day. It was all gone. But it was just like, they plotted on like total soldiers. And I was like, so proud of them.
Well, that's what Melissa and I bailed, probably at like 5 o'clock, and Adam was like, are you crazy? I'm continuing on. I'm like, yo, we're going to get food.
I had to get up at the butt crack of dawn too for my stinking flight home.
Yeah, she had to like leave at 3 a.m. or something.
Well, so did I.
Yeah, but Adam stuck
I
with
just
me,
knew
man.
that if I left,
came
I
and hang
wouldn't
with
be
us
able
to
to
the
catch
bitter
as
end.
many Pokemon.
Well, I guess I'm not the very best.
You're not.
Nope.
No, but we were like, hey, let's catch some raids on the on the walk back to the Airbnb, and Chicago's got some fucking good food. That's all I'm saying. And
Hell yeah.
We had some sick Korean barbecue. We ended up, all the places to eat, we ended up eating at this one place twice because it was so freaking amazing. Del Sol, it was called, man. They had some spicy bimbi noodles. Damn, that shit was good. I could taste it.
Do you want to talk about the Sunday raids or lack thereof?
Yeah, so we're pumping up this event. It was fucking great. It really was. But Melissa already brought up the one thing where there was lack of diversity with spawns. And this is the other thing that got people. There was not a single raid in the entire park. So the experience was really built around catching Pokemon. So my guess is because raids are bandwidth magnets, you know what I mean? And it would be sucking up so much stuff through the network that they didn't.
Group people.
And grouping people. Yep. Clumping up. They just completely nullified all the no gyms, no raids, and it was just catches. So that was a little bit of a bummer because it would have been cool to just knock out fucking, raid. But, I'm glad that they didn't because I'd rather have a network that would go well. I mean, MPitts performance of network performance notwithstanding. Fine. But, there was no raids. And then the lack of diversity, was different too. But it was, overall, it was freaking amazing. I felt so revitalized, with the game and so reconnected to the game. It's been awesome. It definitely took me a week to recover though, being home back in Jersey.
Yeah.
My feet still freaking hurt.
Harrison and India and Kyle, they went out that night. I was like, you people are
Oh my
crazy.
god, they're crazy.
Well, that's what happens when you're young.
Yeah, and then they actually admitted later, because they're like, oh, we're going to go shiny hunt and this and that. And then they later admitted they just went to Shake Shack and came back.
The intention was good.
Yeah.
So that was GoFest Chicago 2018. That ran long. So we got a lot of notes here. I'm going to run through really quick, but that was I don't know, Adam, greatest experience ever playing this game?
It comes close to Philly Free Streets.
Whoa!
But
Really?
no, it does because it was
Comes close.
Like,
wow.
well, listen, Philly Free Streets was amazing.
Yeah, Philly Free Streets was great, and that wasn't even a go.
It really
wasn't
was.
even a go event. It was just like a
I know.
partner event.
But it was just so nice to, like, everybody was there for the same reason. Everybody was going from raid to raid to raid to raid. We all grouped up for the Entei raid, and, like, people were battling the gym nonstop. It was like intense. Like, people were waiting like the full hour, like battling the gym and feeding berries and trying to hold on to the gym.
Well, last year, right before Philly Free Streets, was a San Jose kind of street event like that, and they just announced the San Jose event this year. So I'm hoping that the Philly Free Streets event is announced soon, because that event's been going on for years. So there's definitely going to be a Philly Free Streets, but whether Niantic partners with them is to be seen. But all right, let's get back into the news. This has been a ridiculously crazy, week or two for Pokemon Go since GoFest. Registeel is now the new legendary raid boss. At the end of the show here, we'll do a Registeel raid guide and battle party. But there has been a full raid boss rotation. Tier 1 is now completely shiny. Adam, you want to run through our bosses?
All right. So for our Tier 1 raid bosses, we've got Charmander, Magikarp, Ammonite, Makuhita, Metatite, and Whalmer.
All shiny.
All shinies. Tier 2, we've got Alolan Executor, Magmar, Sudowoodo, Kirlia, and Mawile, which can be shiny. For Tier 3, we've got Alolan Raichu, which I still don't have.
Me three.
Melissa?
I don't have it either.
Michael?
I have two.
Of course, he's fucking
God damn it.
hardcore. Of course he has it.
All right. And then we've got Machamp, Onix, Flareon, Porygon, and Donphan. And then for our Tier 4, we have Golem,
My precious.
Alolan Marowak, which
I want him.
his animation
Yeah, it's
is
so cool.
beautiful.
It might be the coolest thing in the game.
Yep.
It really might.
They put extra effort into that for sure.
When you tap on him and he does this little, like, spin the flaming bar thing, I'm just like, I could do that all
Well,
day.
he does that in the 3DS game.
Yeah,
That's
what I was gonna say. Like, if you play
nailed
through
it.
Sun and Moon and like you're on Kiawe's trial in Sun and Moon, he's got the Marowak. It's the same like animation from taken right out of the 3DS. It looks so freaking awesome.
And then we've got Rhydon, Houndoom, Tyranitar, and Absol, which can also be shiny. Then for our Tier 5 boss, like we said, we have Registeel.
So I really like that they brought in Raichu and Marowak. This was the perfect way to do this because there's no basic form of Alolan Cubone or Alolan Pikachu. So I thought this was an absolute perfect way to introduce them. And then we have Registeel as our Tier 5. And again, we'll get back to that towards the end of the show. All right, Zapdos Day happened last Saturday. I didn't get to play, boo, because I was at work the whole day. But this was, now the new routine of having these special days. This was our reward for unlocking all the research bonuses from GoFest. One thing that's cool about Zapdos Day or any other of these specialized raid days, and I know I haven't really done this yet other than research it because I just power up everything to the max. But if you wanted to start utilizing breakpoints, this is the perfect opportunity to kind of get yourself into understanding how breakpoints work because you need to build a team for a dedicated purpose. And if you're going to be powering up Pokemon for 1 day's worth of raiding, you're not going to want to spend or overspend your Stardust because you want to maximize that and be able to build out a whole squad. So when you're when you're building your Tyranitars to go up against the Zapdos, you don't have to bring them up to level 39.5 or 40. You could probably stop at level 34 or 35. I forget where the breakpoint is. So doing that's going to save you a shit ton of candy and Stardust, and it's probably the best way to get into that. Michael, have you done anything with breakpoints? You ever play with any of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I'm all over the nerd aspect of this game, and I'm a numbers nerd too. So, I always like being the most efficient. I like, if I'm going to use resources, I want to use them how they'd be best suited, not only just right then, but in the future. So that's why I wind up with a horde of Stardust and candy and crap, because I want to use it. Not only, like Tyranitar is a good example, super useful in the meta, super useful all over the place. Yeah, I have no problem investing into someone like that. When it's more of a niche defender or a niche attacker, like maybe like Jinx against against Rayquaza or Rayquaza or whatever it was. It's like, okay, maybe I'll bring a few of them up if we're trying to shorthand a raid or something like that. Now, counterpoint to what you're saying, and not to undermine the conversation, on Zapdos Day, you have a very high participation level.
Yeah.
So what I did was, for Articuno, I'm like, oh yeah, got these Smackdown Tyranitar's. I'm going to get 6 of them ready to go. I'm going to get them at level 30, whatever the break point was. I'm like, let me do it. Then come to find out, we have 8 people in our car, and we're knocking Articuno out in 60 seconds. I'm not even getting to like my third guy. I'm like, I love the idea of doing it, but I'm like, and again, Tyranitar, super useful all over the place. It's not like it's a bad investment, but you're also like, what the fuck did I just do all this for?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I know a lot of people in my group that have done that.
Yeah, it's if you really want to be efficient, or if you're starved for Stardust, then the breakpoints are definitely a way to go. I'll link to kind of the breakpoint chart article that GoHub put together. It's very, very helpful. Again, very nerdy, but if you want to start messing with that, these single day events is probably a good opportunity to start playing with that, because you have a very focused purpose, and that you're only going to be hitting that one raid for that period of time, so it's good. The special move was Thundershock Fast Move, which could not be TM'd into any of your existing Zapdos. A lot of people got upset about this. Same rule applies to Community Day. I didn't even get to freaking play, but I'm not upset that you can't TM into this move, because that's what makes it exclusive. That's what makes it special. The fact that you have to go out there. Like, people are getting salty for no reason. It's like, there's plenty of stuff to be salty about.
You didn't go out and play it. You didn't go out to get it.
You
were supposed to go out to get that special one. You didn't get up. It's like, you want to go to the movie? You got to go out and buy a ticket.
Yep.
And why are you upset?
I definitely.
They've never let you do this ever before with anything else, so why would you expect this to be any different?
But this goes back to like something I said in like a past podcast. It was like, why not come out with some very special item like the rare candy, but whatever, super rare, where it's like an HM, and you can teach that special move to whatever Pokemon it is.
See, if they were to ever bring in that mechanic, they would have to do that with an exclusive item or something, because you can't just have it be able to flush out with the commonality of a TM, because then there would would lose that exclusivity. I like the idea of an HM. I think that was brilliant, because it makes it exclusive, and then, hey, it's a one-time use, and it's said and done, and that's it. But now with trading,
make it similar.
You can trade now too,
similar to like an EX raid pass, where like you get one, and like maybe that is a reward from an EX raid pass.
I agree. It has to be scarce. You can't have more than maybe like one, because to your point, then what's the point? Nobody's going to go out and raid. I'll just take the Zapdos that I already have leveled up to level 35, and then just TM it and all my other ones, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Thundershock Zapdos is better than the Charge Beam Zapdos, but even with Thundershock, it's still not as good as Raikou as an electric attacker. So, it's a good one. It's a good backup to have. If you can benefit from a flying, resistance, then it would be a good choice. But it's still not the top electric attacker. But hey, it is what it is. And I really like these events. I'm hoping one day I'll be able to take part in one, because I want to do some hardcore raiding. Jersey J, I think, did like fucking 58 raids or something stupid for Zapdos.
I did 17, and I thought that was a lot.
We did 30 for Articuno Day. We were shooting for 40. We're going to take a little bit of a different route. And it's so funny because everybody's trying to like map it out, plan it. We're going to assign numbers to each gym. And like, so I'll give you a quick story about my experience that day. I like to keep it autonomous. It's me and Amy, and then we have 6 other people in a traverse, right? So that day we had my friend Andrew and his dad, my friend Rob and his dad, and then Kyle and India in the car with us, right? So it's a little cramped, but we all have the same mindset. We're going to go from raid to raid to raid. And if it's bad or we can't catch it before the next raid starts, we either skip the raid or whatever. We're trying to get as many of them done as we can. And there's another group in Flushing, and I'm a part of this area and kind of the Discord and just kind of keeping the community together. They had 7 cars of people driving around, all trying to coordinate together, and there were 2 people in one car, one person in another, and I'm like, no wonder you guys are only getting like 15 of these things in, because you got to get 7 cars to a spot. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, and then people are like somewhere else, and you're like, where are they? I'm waiting for them.
Right, exactly. And you don't.
Which happened at my group.
You've got so many people you can't tell. Like in our car, you knew if you were all in or if you weren't, and if you had time to get in, you were going to get in. If you didn't, you missed the raid. Everybody understood the rules. And then this, it was a little bit more ambitious than they were, and they understand that, and that's why there's two groups. But yeah, I think we did 31. We had a little bit of a family emergency in the middle of it. Amy's uncle had a little bit of a medical issue, so she had to depart, which left me to drive. So now I'm trying to drive and do all this stuff at the same time. Mind you, I'm not driving and trying to catch or anything, whatever, but it did lead to a bit of frustration in the middle of the event for me because I was like, really, we're trying to get to 40 and whatever. Her uncle is doing better, and I'm glad, and that ultimately that's the most important thing. But at that moment, I'm like, I've got Andrew in the back, a good friend of mine, who has now caught 4 shiny Zapdos in a row. 4 in a row. One of them was 96%. Meanwhile, I caught a shiny Zapdos on like my 3rd raid. We did 31. I didn't catch another one until my 30th raid, and both of them were trash. And I didn't even get a good one anyway. I have terrible luck with IVs when it comes to legendaries, but I think the best one I even saw was 96%, and it was one of the 4 or 5 I didn't catch.
Wow.
So not to be a downer, it was a great time. I'm sorry, I don't want to be like all negative, but it was just like, oh, come on, you got 4 shiny guy in the back here, and I'm driving around not catching anything.
Well, that was like with Articuno Day with Josh, with my son Josh, who doesn't even want to play the game and fights with me to even go out and play. And literally the second he opens the game up and starts the raid, his first Pokemon is freaking shiny Articuno. And I was like, I hate your guts. And then two raids later, he gets another shiny one. And I gave up. I was just like,
Is it wrong to tell a 9-year-old to go fuck themselves? I don't know. Is it?
No, I said it with. I said it.
I'm not sure, but
I said it with my eyes. I looked at him with a smile, but I said
not
it
to
with
their
my
face.
But we're going to expect another one of these legendary days after the Japanese event that's happening at the end of August. So we'll see something there, and then of course we're going to be unlocking our super ultra mega top secret double secret prize at the end, which my thinking is going to be Mewtwo with shiny variant. I think that's my prediction. Write it down.
I know that they've got, trading has been invoked or whatever. We want to get into all that. You've got trading and you've got other things that we'll talk about here shortly. But man, doesn't the end of August sound like forever away when it comes to Pokemon Go Land?
I know.
Like that's our next, like we're going to wait 5 weeks to go do another one of these type raid train type days for the 3 hours.
Well,
it just seems like forever to me.
Us,
well,
that's
we have double Eevee Community Day was announced in the middle of August, so we're going to have a Saturday and Sunday Community Day. First time doing it 2 days in a row, so that'll be kind of funky. And they haven't, decided how the special move is going to work with evolutions, so everyone's kind of confused on that. But
the special move is for Eevee, right?
Is it?
I'm pretty sure Eevee gets the special move. It's not the...
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about evolving it. Really what you're trying to worry about is get shinies, right? Because you've got all these... You've got all the current evolutions, and then you've got future ones coming. So, I don't think the move is going to matter because it's going to be... I think ultimately the bigger question is going to be, if I have 9 shiny Eevees, how do I guarantee that I get a Vaporeon and or Jolteon, as opposed to rolling the dice? I don't want to get 3 Flareon in a row.
My luck, I'm going to end up with freaking 9, Jolteons.
Yes, exactly. That's my greatest fear in life.
But that's coming up. We'll talk about Eevee Community Day in next week's episode as we prep for that. But let's talk about the 0.111.2 APK data mine that happened on GoHub. Trowels once again pulled a bunch of good nuggets from the data mine, and they've actually already upgraded to 0.111.3 that cleaned up some of the bugs that came out with the 0.2. But Trowels jumped onto Twitch, put up a stream. You can actually still go over to his channel, and he has the stream kind of just in this perpetual running state. But I'll link to that where you can see the shiny assets, all the unreleased Pokemon to date. Deoxys was in there, Smeargle was in there. All this crazy stuff, all these different Pokemon, they all look fantastic. But the most important thing he finds is something called Lucky Pokemon. So this happened about a week ago, and where everyone's like, what the fuck is Lucky Pokemon? Like, how are they bringing this back? Because there is a Lucky Pokemon in the main series. Like, is this going to be the same kind of mechanic? And I think Trainer Tips Nick put out a conspiracy video. I don't know if anyone's seen it. but it was fantastic where he noticed the trend of internationally all the official Pokemon Go accounts starting to tweet out things that showed a screen of a trainer holding a phone. You could see the Photoshop screen on there, and it was the same image of a Chansey with a glittery background. So it's like, what the hell is that? And then they started now. We get Trowels who says these are lucky Pokemon, and he has screenshots and actual video real time of what the animations look like with these glittery backgrounds, and it says the label lucky Pokemon. We're like, what the fuck is going on here? And then Niantic fucked up
yeah, they did
real bad.
They blew it.
They put out an official announcement saying, hey everyone, lucky Pokemon are here. You trade your Pokemon with a friend and there's a chance that both of them will become lucky, and if they're lucky, the power up cost is cut in half the Stardust, half the candy, and the older the Pokemon has been in your box, the better chance it is to be lucky. So as soon as they make that and the update starts dropping, everyone immediately is sorting their Pokemon by recent, looking to their oldest Pokemon and trading it in hopes of getting lucky. And nobody gets lucky Pokemon. Everyone's like crying foul. They're like, what the fuck is going on here?
And guess what?
They fuck.
You can't undo those trades.
I know.
No more July 2016 Pokemon to trade for you. Sorry.
So the announcement finally comes out saying, "Oh, lucky Pokemon aren't a thing yet, even though we announced it. You have to wait. You have to wait until the update is forced and everyone is on the update platform before this is going to be live." So
Niantic was like, "Ha, fooled you,
dude." There was days between the announcements. Everyone traded their old shit away. I mean, luckily, I only did one trade with Melissa. We traded July 2016 Pokemon to each other, and we're like, oh, didn't get a shiny, but I sent her one of my old Charizards or something like that. It's like, fuck, now we're beat. Luckily, I still have a bunch more, but I know people that traded like 40 Pokemon trying to get a lucky, and now they don't have those old Pokemon in their storage to trade anymore, which is a total bummer. They totally dropped the ball. And they screwed up.
I traded 3 the day up. So I'm like, I'm hurting.
The moral of the story here is, whenever there's an event and whether there's an announcement, you wait until that update is forced. Once the update is forced, it's imminent. They did it for Gen 2. They did it for Gen 3. They've done it for every one of these events. You wait till they make you update. And once you hear that update is forced, it's on. That's when it starts.
Yeah, and
I need one. Yeah, I need one of these glittery ones.
So they did force the update yesterday. So lucky Pokemon are live. So get out there, trade your old stuff. From what I see, it's not terribly uncommon to get a lucky Pokemon, which is really cool. And hopefully, we'll have some data come together over the, from Silph Road or GoHub, showing what the baseline IVs for these traded Pokemon or lucky Pokemon could be. Because they're, if these Pokemon have a better chance of being good, I'm hungry. I want to get that full lucky dex. I think I want to go for that.
The way I understand it is that if it is lucky, it has the same base IVs as a hatch or an encounter now. Initially, it did not.
So base 10.
But now it's 10, 10, 10. And I'll tell you, I've done a number of trades. I came back from Vancouver with a bunch of stuff to trade, whatever. I've done a number of trades. I have 5 of them already. And I will tell you, every one of them, except for the one that I actually wanted to be, was over 82%. I'm Mystic, so it was a wonder, 82% or higher. And they definitely have. They are definitely improved there. So
nice. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some trades, and then so get out there and do your trades for lucky Pokemon, but also some other stuff that Trials did find in the update. There's a silver Pineapple. The rumor is that this will increase the amount of candy that you get from a catch. Only the image file was added to the game. It looks really cool. It's not referenced in the code yet, but that's coming. He also found the entire worldwide Celebi quest. So that's ready to go. They just need to flip a switch. And then other things that are actually live right now is you can sort your friends list. You can give your friends nicknames. You could delete unwanted gifts, and you can now sort by traded Pokemon. So all this stuff is cool. Gifts can now contain Stardust, 200 XP for sending a gift, and like I said, 0.11.3 has come out and fixed some of the bugs that kind of came with all this new update. But a lot of shit is happening in the game right now. It's again, the momentum is just continuing, and it's like now we're going to have Community Day in 2 weeks. Then at the at the end of the month, we're going to have another raid boss rotation, plus the Japanese event, another field research global challenge, and then ultimately some more bonus. Maybe it would be Moltres raid day, kind of thing, and then we ultimately have the super bonus. So all this shit is going on. It's madness, absolute madness.
What about Ho-Oh?
Ho-Oh was, not part of the 3 legendary birds. It's its own thing. But I don't know. And again, coming off the July research box of Snorlax, that kind of screwed up the progression of all these being legendary. So I think once Snorlax goes away, they're going to bring back...
I don't want to talk about that.
Another legendary? Yeah, you want Snorlax to stay forever.
I want him to stay forever.
Just keep forever.
I'm very tempted to,
keep it in your box. Yeah.
Yeah, forever. Because I love being able to pop him out at any time and, just see him in real life.
Take a picture wherever you are.
So and honestly, that's kind of why I still have my Mew. I'm still holding on to Mew.
Yeah, she pulled Mew out in Chicago and was like, oh shit, wrong one. Let me get back to Celebi. But a lot of stuff going on with the updates of the game, and quality of life stuff is just getting better and better. So they're listening. They added stuff where, giving friends nicknames is amazing, because then you can sort by nickname and sort by their real names if you know it. All right, I have a listener email here from Atari Alex. Dear Ken, Melissa, and Adam, quick question for you this week. What are your feelings on using premium raid passes on level 1 and 2 raids? It's a great question. Personally, I may use a premium pass on a level 2 raid if I'm really close to leveling up my gym badge to gold, but I would never use one for a level 1 raid. It's just not worth it to me. Thanks, Atari Alex. So this is a good point. Now, I'm the 1% here because I'm sitting on 80 raid passes right now. So I've bought so many boxes and I don't raid much. I just don't raid a lot. So I don't care. I'll spend them if I have the opportunity to do a raid, even if it's a level 1 and I got to use a premium pass. I'm fine with it, But if I only was sitting on 10 passes or less, I'd probably be much more selective with it. But only because I have so many, I don't give a shit. I just spend it. But I don't know how you guys feel.
I mean, in my opinion, as long as it has a shiny and a chance to be shiny with a higher IV chance, I'm all for spending my premium raid passes on level 1s.
Yeah.
Because, imagine having a golden 100% Magikarp.
Yes, I can imagine that. Even I can imagine it, but I'll never have it.
Aww. I've never...
Right? 100% shiny Charmander.
Michael, how many passes are you sitting on, Michael? 1 million?
I'll tell you what. I'll pull it up while I ask a side-related question of my own. Have any of you gotten a shiny from a raid?
Never.
No.
Yes, I've gotten
Mawile
and Swablu.
That's awesome. Well, you are the shiny magnet.
My first shiny from a raid, I believe I've gotten 2 now. I have to go look. Not counting legendaries, right? I have Lugia and the Articuno.
Right. I have Lugia and Ho-Oh.
Right. My first was last September in Chicago. I was at the Art Institute, which if you Ferris Bueller's Day Off, that's where they go and they're walking through and Cameron's watching, look at the painting, all that stuff. Shiny Magikarp, 91%, and it is still one of my favorite things I've ever caught in this game.
That's awesome.
Legit. Yeah. That's
so
awesome.
to answer your question, I absolutely will. And to answer the question you just asked me, I have, let me look, 129 premium raid passes in my bag. So
Zapdos Day took all of my premium raid passes, and then at the end of Zapdos Day, I forced everybody to come help me for a Registeel because I still didn't have that in the decks. But I'm now down to just my premium and 1 EX raid pass that I just got today.
Nice.
Yeah,
I don't want to answer on Adam's behalf, but do you remember what you told me when we finished that Lugia raid on Saturday? You said, "Are there any more raids out there?" And I said, "Well, there's a Manectric down the street." And everybody laughed and groaned, and you looked at me and you're like, "I don't discriminate when it comes to XP." And I was
exactly,
let's go.
Hell yeah.
It was over. We didn't get to do it. But if we're going to do a Manectric raid, I think you understand what our mindset is.
Yeah. No, it's and it was yeah. I'll always do the raid if I have the opportunity, because I don't raid a lot. I'm only, probably 200 legendaries in and probably 160 or so standard raids in. I don't raid a lot, so it's I love doing it. So if I have the opportunity, hell yeah, I'll spend it.
Yeah, I don't discriminate with XP.
I've never even looked to be honest. Like I swear to God, I've never looked and been like, oh, let me decide whether or not I have to use the premium. No. If I can get in, I can get in. If I can't get in, I can't get in. That's
like, oh shit, I got no more passes.
Yeah, exactly.
And Alex, as far as my favorite thing to do in the game, especially like even when I have raid passes, is to purposely like not raid that day. Or if I work open to close, like I just don't have time to raid. So then I've got 2 passes for the next day, and then I'm like on the hunt for any raid. I'm like, oh my god, I don't even care if it's a Swablu. I don't care if it's a Magikarp. I don't care if it's a Mawile. Like whatever it is, I want it. Just because I'll
do that like tap and go style in the car and just be like, I'll just sit here for 120 seconds and get in and start tapping. But all right, and a couple last little bits before we get into our Registeel party here. Some miscellaneous news. There was a ban wave that went out pretty much starting the week of GoFest, and Jono Plays, who will be coming on the show in the coming weeks, we're working on scheduling right now, got banned during GoFest. Live
but I
on
think
stream.
he got more than just banned. I think
he got permabanned. Like your account has been terminated.
Permanently terminated. Yeah.
So what's interesting on his channel now is what he's calling his quote-unquote organic account of, he's actually playing an account legit now. Of course, he has, his spoofing accounts too, but his main account that he's had forever and ever was permabanned. And there's a fantastic screenshot of his face when it happened floating around.
I gotta see
floating
this.
around on Twitter of like him looking at the screen capture and just says, your account has been, permanently terminated.
That's the word. Schadenfreude. I don't know how to say that. I'm not German, but enjoyment from the displeasure of others.
Yeah. But when he comes on the show, we'll be sure to talk about that ban and his organic account and all the other bullshit that goes along with that. There was a fantastic regional map that was released on Reddit. I'll link to that. It kind of lays the map out of the world out and shows you exactly where each regional is. We've had this information for a while, but this is a nice little neat and tidy kind of JPEG that you can save off to your phone if you ever need some info here. Let's finally get into our Registeel raid guide and battle party. Oh wait, MPitts gets to do a battle party song. Oh yeah!
Oh shit! Are you ready?
Ready? Battle party. Ooh ooh. Battle party. Ooh.
Never let them take that away from you. When they asked that question and someone said you have to get rid of that person, don't listen to them.
All right, Registeel is our new Gen 3 Legendary Tier 5 raid boss, 30,596 CP as a boss. It's a pure steel type, weak to fighting, ground, and fire. This is the weird thing. 100% catch, 1,292 CP. This is a small Pokemon. Level 25 under weather, which is going to be only in snow, is 1,615. So not a very impressive or imposing Pokemon when it comes to CP. A lot of people are not too big on the Regis, the Regis at all. The Regis are typically ugly. They're not, they're not organic looking Pokemon, and they're defenders. So with the way the current meta is, where you can't put legendaries in gyms, they really cannot live out their purpose, because you're not going to use a steel attacker really in the meta going, attacking gyms or attacking stuff. So it's kind of weird. Best counters are going to be Moltres with Fire Spin, Overheat. Now, Flying Fire takes either reduced or neutral damage from all of Registeel's potential attacks. So, really, your best all-arounder is going to be Moltres. Entei with Fire Spin and Overheat is going to be good. Again, it's not going to benefit from the flying resistance like Moltres would, but still good. Machamp with counter Dynamic Punch. Charizard with Fire Spin, Blast Burn. Groudon with Mudshot, Earthquake. Some other good counters are going to be Blaziken, Flareon, Hariyama, Breloom. If you need some budget counters, Typhlosion, Arcanine, Salamence, Heracross. So you've got a lot to use here, but the best rule of thumb is going to be, if it's sunny, use Fire. If it's, cloudy or not sunny, you could use Fighting, but the Fire attackers are really going to be the best where it's at. I've made double parties in the past. Like, okay, if it's a sunny day, I'll use this party. If it's, a cloudy day, I'll use this party. I just kind of made one all-around party to use where I have 2 Moltres, 2 Entei, 2 Machamp. So I'm going to benefit from the reduced or neutral damage to start with my 2 Moltres. And again, if I'm with a group, I might only get into 3 or 4 Pokemon. So I'll let the Moltres do the work in the beginning. Entei, which is still going to be super effective here, and then Machamp to close out with 2 of them. So 2 Moltres, 2 Entei, 2 Machamp, nice and balanced, and I don't have to worry about, building out a specific party for weather. I could just make one and, still put out some good DPS. Adam, what do you got?
So I'm going to bring Machamp, Moltres, Entei, Arcanine, Blaziken, and Flareon because I have relatively good IVs of all of those.
Blaziken, my dude, is cool. His animations are cool, and Arcanine, I remember when Gen 1 was out, Arcanine was like the shit. Like, if you had an Arcanine, it was awesome. So that's cool that you get a chance to use that. And Melissa, what do you got?
I'm going to bring Charizard and Torkoal and Ho-Oh and Hariyama, Machamp, and Groudon.
Yeah, Torkoal. That's right. You got your good Torkoal.
Oh, I totally forgot about him.
And Michael, what do you got?
I have been so apprehensive to invest any resources into any fire types in this game. And when you told me I had to assemble a battle party for Registeel, I did it. I didn't go crazy with it, but I did it. I'll tell you, I had never powered up a Moltres or an Entei because I never had any reason to do it, right? So I took my best Moltres, my best Entei, 96 and 93%, and I powered both of them up to level 30. And both of them have Fire Spin Overheat.
Okay, nice.
I have a 100% maxed out Machamp at 2889 Counter Dynamic Punch. And that's the effective part of the team. This is more the brag part of the team. I'm going to brag, so be ready. 82% shiny Charizard with Fire Spin Blast Burn, level 30. 76% shiny Hariyama, level 30. 2283 with Counter and Dynamic Punch. And then the coup de grace, my Heracross from Cabo, Mexico, that I caught off of an incense because we were staying in a resort that had no spawns and no gyms and no nothing. And
That's
I incensed
awesome.
an 87% Heracross and took him to level 30 with counter and close combat. So yes, I got a little braggadocious, but you Jersey folk are
We
used
love
to
that, though.
Yeah,
We love it.
That's cool though, because we've got some diversity. I like that Adam's bringing Arcanine, Blaziken, Flareon. I know Adam's a big fan of Flareon. And Melissa bringing the Torkoal and the Ho-Oh, which is cool, and Groudon too, which is nice. And then you've got some flair at the end of yours, Michael, which is awesome too. So nice mix.
fabulous.
So let us know what you guys are bringing out there in the real world to take down Registeel. Let us know if you're playing with a small group or a large group. That's going to typically dictate who you can bring and how creative or funky you can get. There's always that one person that's going to bring stuff like Melissa just brings Snorlax because she loves him. So, it's.
I know. Just wait till there's a shiny Snorlax.
I'm
bringing him to
Wait
all
till,
the raids.
wait till there's Munchlax.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, man.
Munchlax is going to be
Don't get me
great.
started.
I can't. You don't understand.
And
My
that's the one that
smile's
they'll
so
make
big
shiny.
Right now.
They'll make it shiny through hatching, and then you have to hatch.
I know. It's going to be so rare.
I'm
Snorlax
twitching,
just as much as you.
twitching.
But all right, this was a long one. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Michael Pitts, for being on the show and sticking with us through the whole thing.
It was
We really
excellent
appreciate
having
it.
you today.
Let's
The pleasure
let's
was
go
all mine.
Let's go through the plugs. Plug away on the show. Let everybody know where they can find you and all that good stuff on Twitter.
I don't have a show. The show is
stole the show, guys.
MetaPodCastGo. You can find us on Twitter, you can find us on Facebook, and you can find us on SoundCloud. All is at MetaPodCastGo. We are on iTunes and Google Play. Again, just search for MetaPodCastGo. You cannot miss us. It is a Metapod wearing a pair of Beats headphones speaking into a 50s style condenser mic. So if you see that logo, you know you've got the right people. And if you want to hear two old men ramble on like idiots about Pokemon, tune in. We would love it. Thank you.
No, awesome. Definitely. No, I really enjoy the show because it definitely, you guys are hardcore players, and, hearing the volume of raids that you do and all that stuff, it's a nice perspective from a true grinder. And, if you're level 40 you can find a lot of appreciation for what goes on MetaPodCastGo. So I'll put all the links in the description. Everything that we do can be found over at GottaWatchTheMall.com and ultimately LuredUp.com. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/GottaWatchTheMall. Leave us a review in iTunes. We would greatly appreciate that. Email us, info@LuredUp.com, just like Atari Alex did today. I can be found personally at Proud Gamer Tweet, even though I don't use that anymore. Adam, what about you?
You can find me at Phoenix Back for Fire.
And you can find Melissa in the club.
Bottle full of bub, mama.
And
you can find me on...
on the internet.
I'm on the internet. You can find me on the internet.
Join the Discord.
Yes.
She's on the Discord.
I will say this. The money that you have to spend to become a part of your guys' Discord, it's worth 10 times that. Whatever that minimum is, if it's $1 or $5 a month, I don't even remember. I signed up and I have never regretted it. So people, trust me, I subscribe, I'm a patron, and it is worth every cent to get on there and be able to talk to Adam and Ken and Melissa and interact with all of their idiot friends like Jersey J, who I obviously am in love with. I have a man crush on. He and I are too much alike. But no, it is a fantastic community that you guys have helped build, and I can't recommend it enough.
Awesome, thank you so much. And hey,
so much, dude.
if you join the Discord, you could become friends with MPitts, and maybe he'll send you a crotchless clown gift.
I got dibs on the next crotchless clown.
So one of the things we do in the Discord is we find funny Pokestops that we can earn gifts from and send them to each other. And Jersey J had a funny thing with dicks. The place was dicks, so he's like, "Who wants some of my dicks?" And he was like, "You get a bag of dicks for you, bag of dicks for you." And then MPitts pulls out the crotchless clown, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I think that was before the more involved process of approving ingress stops. I think that one slipped through the cracks in the early stages of the game.
But, all right, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see everyone next week with another banger. But until then,
catch them all.
Catch them all. Yeah,
don't use your Go Plus because they suck.
You gotta listen to them all. You gotta catch them all. You gotta watch them all.
Use Go Plus.
Oh my God! And honestly, that's the thing. If you were at GoFest and you didn't have a Go Plus, I don't know what you were doing.
I didn't use mine. I bet I caught more than you did.
Pirates.
All right, bye-bye.